Hi everybody, happy Sunday. We have an evil Clues by Sam today. I love the evil ones. It's a good one to have right after Valentine's Day, don't you think? So, if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily puzzle game we do every day here on the channel, and in it we have 20 people. We must assign each one a role, and they give you clues to help you with those roles. So, if you want to play as well, I don't recommend starting with this one, but tomorrow we're gonna have an easy one probably. And if you want to start or watch some of the previous videos to kind of learn the mechanics, then you're welcome to do so. And if you want to play along with me, there is a link in the description to take you to 2 days. And I'm gonna start mine right away and explain my logic as I go so we can suffer through this together. Let's go. We start with Ellie telling us that exactly 2 instances to the right of Gary are neighboring Ollie. So to the right of Ellie, the people who are neighboring Ollie are Igor and John. So that's 2 people, which means that both of them have to be innocent since 2 people are innocent to the right of Gary neighboring Ollie. But we don't need Ellie's clue anymore. Now Igor says that both criminals below Barney are connected. Well, the both tells that there's only 2 people who are criminals below Barney, and since there's 4 people below him, then 2 of them are innocent and 2 of them are criminals. And well, we know they have to be connected, but we don't know about any of them yet, so let's leave that clue there. Jones says that an odd number of instances in column B neighbor Nicole. So where's Nicole? Nicole is in column C, and the 3 people who neighbor her in column B are below Barney. If an odd number of innocents are among those 3 people, that means that the second innocent in column B who is below Barney has to be Vera, who is the only person who's not neighboring Nicole. And since we know that both criminals below Barney are connected, and now we have 3 people, of which 2 have to be criminals, that makes Max, who's the only person connected to any of the other 3, has to be one of those criminals. Now we know that Hank and Ruth are one or the other. And Vera now says there's an equal number of criminals in rows 1 and 2. Okay, so far we don't know how many criminals are in row 2. And Max says there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Barney. Barney has 5 people neighboring him. An odd number of them have to be criminals, right? And everybody who neighbors him is both or either in row 1 or in row 2. So Barney already has an innocent neighboring him. That means that he has 4 people left, and it couldn't be that all those 4 are criminals, because that would be an even number of criminals neighboring him. So at most we could have 3 people who are criminals neighboring him. If Hank were to be a criminal, that's 1, which is an odd number of criminals neighboring Barney. If we had Gary be a criminal as well, we would now know that we need 2 criminals in row 1, one of which would have to be Barney, because we need an odd number of people who are criminals neighboring Barney, right? We couldn't have both Adam and Donna be criminals. If Gary were to be an innocent and we needed only 1 criminal in row 1, it would also have to be Barney. Why? Because if anybody here who neighbors Barney were to be that single criminal in row 1 because of Hank, then Barney would have an even number of criminals neighboring him. So, and also if both Gary and Hank were innocents, then both Adam and Donna would also be innocents as well as Barney, and now we have no criminals neighboring Barney. Is 0 an odd number? I'm not really sure, but I don't think so for this purpose. I think Barney has to have at least 1 person who is an innocent neighboring him. And that makes him a criminal, and both Gary and Hank innocents. Both Gary and Hank innocents, not that. Both Adam and Donna innocents. Because if Adam were to be a criminal, then somebody in row 2 would have to be a criminal, and those two neighbor Barney, so that would break for the same reason. So both Adam. I'm not right with that? Huh? Oh, because we could have 3 of them. We could have this. I forgot about the 3 completely. Sorry about that. This could work. Because now there's 2 and 2. And 3 people neighboring Barney. That was such a slip up. Now Barney says there are more criminals in row 1 than row 4. Well, we know there's at least 1 criminal in row 1. Since Hank is in row 2 and his counterpart is in row 4, making him a criminal would make Ruth an innocent. Would it be possible for both Gary and Adam, let's say, to be criminals? And now we have 2 and 2 in row 1 and row 4 in row 1 and row 2. But row 4 has to have more than that. So everybody else would have to be a criminal here. Does that work? It does. Whereas if Hank were to be an innocent and Ruth a criminal, Gary would have to be a criminal, and both Adam and Donna now, in this case, would have to be innocents, which would make it easy for row 4 to have more criminals. So what should I think about? The equal number of criminals in rows 1 and 2? I can't see what's easy about this. Because I've just tried to make Hank a criminal, and that worked for me. If only Hank is a criminal, that works well with row 4. If both Hank and Gary, so I must be missing something. So I'm gonna go through all the clues again. There are more criminals in row 1 than row 4. Oh, there are more criminals in row 1 than row 4. Not more criminals in row 4 than row 1. I switched it up. So it couldn't be that only Hank is a criminal, or only Gary, I don't know. It couldn't be that only one of these people were a criminal. Because if that was the case, as we know, then both Adam and Donna are innocent. And now, since Ruth is a criminal because of Hank, then row 1 and row 4 have the same number. Or row 4 could even have more than row 1. If Hank were to be a criminal, though, it's still possible. So it's either Hank only, or Hank and 2 more people who neighbor Barney. Hank has to be a criminal then. I hope that made sense for you. Now, both criminals above Uma are connected. So same situation as we had below Barney. 4 people above Uma, and 2 of them are criminals, 2 of them are innocents, and the criminals are connected. Hank now says that exactly one innocent in column D is neighboring Tyler. So where's Tyler? Tyler is in column D, and he has 2 people neighboring him in that same column. Only one of them is an innocent. Sorry, so either Ollie or Zoe are an innocent, the other one is a criminal. But how does that help us? Because it doesn't interact with row 4. I guess we gotta go back to Uma's because both criminals above Uma are connected. That means that Gary is for sure gonna be a criminal, or does it not? Could it be that Gary is an innocent? If he is, Adam has to be an innocent, right? Because there has to be 2 innocents. Everybody else is an innocent. Who neighbors Barney? Oh, Donna would have to be a criminal. No, Donna wouldn't. It's an odd number, not an even number. Okay. 1 and 1 and an odd number neighboring Barney. If Gary, on the other hand, were to be a criminal, Adam would have to be a criminal. Or would he not? Because Kumar could be a criminal. Adam and Donna. Yeah, there's 3 people neighboring Barney, 2 and 2 in row 1 and row 2. And it is possible that row 1 has more criminals than row 4. Could Pam be a criminal? And if she is, Kumar would have to be a criminal, which would make Gary an innocent and Donna. Because if Pam is a criminal, neither Gary nor Adam could be criminals as well, since they're not connected to Pam. And in this case, Donna couldn't be a criminal because Barney would end up with an even number of criminals neighboring him. So everybody else here is an innocent. And now row 4 has the same number of criminals as row 1, which couldn't happen. So Pam couldn't be a criminal. And now we know that Gary is for sure a criminal, because he's the only one connected to any other people above Uma who could be criminals. And now we know that Donna and Adam are one or the other. One has to be a criminal, the other one has to be an innocent. And Penn tells us that column C is the only column with exactly 3 innocents. Okay, I'm gonna act on that in a bit. Let's look at Gary's school. There's an odd number of innocents neighboring Hank. Hank has Igor, his first innocent neighbor. The second one is either going to be Donna or Adam, and 2 is an even number, so that means that either Kumar or Nicole, who are his last neighbors, have to be the third innocent to make a non-number. And we know that column A is going to have 2 innocents here with the people above Uma, so it couldn't mean that Uma is an innocent. Otherwise, column A would also have 3 innocents. So Uma has to be a criminal. And column D already has 3 as well, because it has Ellie and John. That's 2. It's gonna have a third one for sure, who's either gonna be Ollie or Zoe. It couldn't remain with 3 innocents, so Tyler has to be the 4th one for that column. Tyler now says there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Max. Where's Max? Max has 3 innocents so far. They are gonna have a 4th one, who's either gonna be Kumar or Nicole, and that's an even number. So Susan has to be an innocent as well to make 5 innocent neighbors and an even number and an odd number for Max. So Susan is an innocent too. Okay. We're good. We're doing good. Um, how else do we deal? There's not a number of criminals neighboring Max. I did the math wrong and I got the right result. I was thinking about innocence. So Max so far has 2 criminal neighbors. And they're gonna have a third one here. What else? Do we think about columns again? There are more criminals in row 1 than row 4. This is dismissed because there's no way for row 4 to have more criminals in row 1 anymore. Exactly 2 instances to the right of Gary are neighboring Ollie. That's the first one. There's another number of instances neighboring Hank. That is gonna happen. 1 instance in column D is neighboring Tyler. Both criminals below Barney are connected. They are. And a number of instances in column B neighbor Nicole. We are done with that. There's another number of criminals neighboring Barney. There is gonna be. Column C is the only column with exactly 3 instances. There's no possibility that any column anymore has not. 3 instances. Both criminals above are connected. They are gonna be. Which makes Kumar and Adam one or the other. So can we do something with that? Can we make Adam an innocent? That will make Kumar a criminal, which would make Nicole an innocent and Donna a criminal. So we know that Donna and Nicole are one or the other. If Adam were to be an innocent, that will make Kumar a criminal and Donna an innocent. Oh. What? If Adam were to be an innocent, that will make Kumar a criminal, which will make Nicole an innocent. Am I trying the same scenario again? If Adam is a criminal, that makes Kumar an innocent and Nicole a criminal and Donna an innocent. So they are one or the other, Donna and Nicole, which makes the 3 innocents who are in column C, Igor, Susan, and someone else who's either gonna be Nicole or Donna. But we know for sure that our 3rd innocent is gonna be here, so we couldn't have Xavier be an innocent as well. Now, Xavier says there's an equal number of criminals in rows 1 and 3. And we know that row 1 is gonna have 2 criminals. Row 3 is gonna have 2 criminals as well, with Kumar and Nicole being one or the other, along with Max. So Ollie has to be an innocent, which makes Zoe a criminal. Now Ollie says that another number of innocents on the edges neighbor Hank. So that makes Adam the only innocent in this situation. Because if he would be a criminal, then both Donna and Kumar, who neighbor Hank and are on the edge, will be innocents. And that's an even number 2. So Adam has to be an innocent, which makes both Donna and Kumar criminals. And that makes Nicole an innocent. And we are done. I'm so sad I got a yellow there. But I do love the evil ones. I don't know what was evil about this. And yeah, it was just a slip up of mine forgetting about the 3 scenario. But that goes to show how evil ones are really evil in the sense that they make you think about a lot of things at the same time. So you can't forget multiple scenarios instead of just focusing on one thing and kind of assuming that that one thing is what's going to happen like I did. I assumed that Barney would have 1 criminal neighbor only because that was an odd number, and I forgot about the possibility of him having 3, which is also an odd number. But yeah, I had fun with this, and I hope you did as well, and fun with the video too. Let me know how it went for you. I'll be back again tomorrow on a Monday with our double Monday, so doing last week's bonus puzzle. So if you wanna subscribe to the newsletter for Clues by Sam, you get bonus puzzles every Monday on your email. So yeah, we can do it together, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.